computer.
Oh.
I know. So turn on and back here again. So where are we? Make that small. Pick up this one. EAP. It was funny. I didn't realize my computer was so low. Oh, that's converting meeting to recording now. So we're up to M. So that's, you just tell them to look at websites and to cite it in the bibliography. And that the proper academic material, not just someone's opinion, that it's actually made by a reputable organisation. Yep. Sorry, this is a bit boring, everyone, because I'm basically just talking about what is expected in the assignment. So any questions on 13.3? No? Okay. So 13.4, I've got here as well, 13.4. So you have to develop writing skills. Because before it was reading, it's about writing skills. So 13.4. There you go. Develop writing skills for participation in academic contexts. Rewrite this quote in your own words so it can be used in a written text, not as a direct quote, but simply acknowledging the source of the idea. So you have this quote here saying, almost all job descriptions now stress communication skills. It seems that the way language is being used in the workplace is changing along with the restructuring of work practices and is playing a different role in social control in the workplace. Written by Marie Emmett, John Pollock, from this book, from that publishing house and that year. So you would have a bibliography at the end with the details of Marie Emmett and John Pollock and Linda Komisarf, but you just have the in-text referencing there. So you just have in brackets Emmett. Does anyone know what the ETAL stands for?
ET. What is it?
Well, when you do the in-text referencing, you have the ET. Yeah, Beatrice?
I'm not sure what was.
Isn't it like and?
Yeah, that's right. In French, right, Beatrice? So ET in French.
Oh, okay. Oh, and others.
It's like and.
Yeah, so it just means others, because actually.
And others, et al. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't,
Like Latin, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's Latin, et altri.
Yeah. So it's written by 3 people, but here it just has Emmett, so that's why it says et al, which meaning and the others.
And others.
So that you could paraphrase saying, although language usage is changing, communication still plays a crucial social control role in the workplace. This is evidenced by communication skills being included as a vital element of most position descriptions. And then in brackets, that's the in-text referencing. And then when you get to the last page, you've got the bibliography, which would have all 3 of those people written. Yeah, it's still converting. This is taking up my space. So I can move it. There you go. So, and then B says locate and correctly reference an academic text, not less than 250 words, on any topic that contains an element of opinion and persuasion that is suitable for you to use with a class of advanced level Japanese students who need to write persuasive text argument genre. Imagine that you have projected this text onto a whiteboard using an overhead projector, OHP, or data projector for viewing by the whole class, and that with the use of marker pens, you and your students have identified the following structural and linguistic features of the text. The main points, paragraphs, transformed them into note form using keywords, symbols, abbreviations, how these main points are linked, and the words or phrases expressing opinion. And then you've got on the back, the words that persuade the reader of the writer's point of view, the words that indicate a personal response to the opinion expressed, and how any cultural information is conveyed, key points for grammar, syntax, and cohesion. So that should be here. Yeah, there you go. So using the template below, fill in the sections as it would appear projected onto the whiteboard once your class has completed this activity. So tip, there are quite a few things to keep in mind here as you are demonstrating understanding of more than one concept. Make sure the written text you use as a model text fills the criteria, i.e. is suitable academic context for advanced level Japanese students, containing an element of opinion and persuasion, and is not less than 250 words. So this one has a text taken from here, which you need to write as well. Which edition, you know, there's more than one. Oh yeah, there you go. That's our video from before. So you would write something like this to reference where you got the text from. And then this is an example text. So main points in note form, annotations. So text, establishing a climate of positivity. The first and most crucial step in leading positive change. So introduce argument. So annotations means the structure of the essay, and this is the points we need to show how essays are written. So introduce argument, lead positive change leaders. This is point 1 about positive change, supporting argument for positive change. Those types of people who make you feel good. Research refers to these people as positive energizers. Characteristics, qualities of positive and negative energizers. And reasons positivity is a crucial thing leading to positive change. And the last 2 pages. So information to improve. Positive energy networks, giving more information to back up. High possibility that positive energizers will be personally successful. Effective managers. Concluding comments. Positive people perform better, and then surround yourself with positive people. So that side are the main points, and on the other side here, so annotations. That's the breakdown structure of it. So I've sent you this anyway for you to look at. So you've got use of persuasive techniques is number 2. So number 2 saying that. Number 1, number 2. Can't see where there's number 2. I've got here sentence expressing opinion. Oh, so it must be the first. Well, because constant change is typical in organisations, most managers, most of the time, focus on negative or problematic aspects of change. So that's an opinion. Persuasive text, okay. So I guess that means this number 2. Not everyone masters it, although everyone can. Anything that's a bit emotive is persuasive. So maybe saying everyone can do it is emotive, hence persuasive. Main idea repeated. So have the same idea with repeating. Yeah, it makes you more likely to believe because it's a persuasive or an argument essay. So on the whiteboard you have this. Well, you give them a handout this, and then you add these bit with your whiteboard pen after. So use quotes from people well known to persuade the reader. Main idea repeated to make link with quote. The saying, talking about necessity up here, so bring up necessity again. Continues idea of positivity, introduces contrast. Now, usually if you do a persuasive essay, you need to have what the other people would say, so you can dispute that, their side as well. And then highlights people's feelings to help convince reader of argument. So once again, pulling out the emotional strings and draw ties to make you believe, contrasting negative and positive characteristics, and then developing argument for positivity. And then, so language choice form links. Successful, effective success, I guess you could say, goes together well. So those ones are language choice forms are written in green. And the blue was how they use the text to persuade you. Yeah, but that's something you guys have to find, something like this 250-word essay on positive thinking. So email me when you find something. So that's an example. Yeah. Yeah, so find a text and break it down like that, the structure on one side and the function on the other, and have different colours to mark, showing how the essay has been written. And after that has C. So that's the same thing, but I think C is having analysed your model text, design 2 follow-on activities that would support students to, I have to get rid of you guys. Hang on, get up there. So C is having analysed your model text, design 2 follow-on activities that would support students to skills to write a persuasive text of their own. So can you think of anything we can do to encourage students to write a persuasive text effectively? You could ask them to choose a topic that they're interested in, or they're going to be studying in the future, or something that's relevant. And here it says, so choose a topic from the list provided. So you give them a choice, so 6 or so. Required to clearly and succinctly write your point of view, and then required to outline a minimum of 3 arguments to convince the reader. And for each of the arguments you have outlined, provide 2 or 3 ideas. So you always back it up. Do you guys know teal?
Who?
There's something called teal that they learn in high school. I'll go here to eel. Move this out of the way again. So teal is this way of writing an essay. The same sort of thing, it's just you back it up to have topic, evidence, explanation, link. I'll copy this and put that in. Copy image. Go back again. So always link it with some evidence, that's what they're saying. No. Anyway, so teal is this one. Get it back up again. So you have the topic, you have the evidence, and then you have, you have a link at the end. You evaluate the evidence and you link it. You link it with something that's happening in real life. So the topic, whatever it is, you bring up the evidence, you evaluate it, and you link it back to the subject that we're writing about. That's what the high school students learn when they're doing essays, to have the teal way of doing. So this is talking about when you're doing an essay that you should have your arguments and should be able to support the argument. So supporting it means to have evidence. Yeah. So it asks them to choose one topic and outline a minimum of 3 arguments. I'll make that smaller there. Yeah, and convince the reader. And for each argument, you have to have 2 to 3 ideas to support it. And then you are required to research your chosen topic using a range of research skills, library texts, databases, internet, and find a minimum of 5 works that support your point of view from which you could use information to persuade your reader of your point of view. Make copies of the texts, making sure that you obtain all the details you will need to reference the work in both in the text you'll be writing and in the reference list you will compile when you write the text. You have the students do that. This would be to help them to improve their writing skills. And activity 2, another activity is now that you have developed your point of view and have found supporting research, you are required to write a short report. 750 words. To convince your reader of your point of view, you're required to reference other authors' ideas appropriately and provide a reference list of all the sources used to support your argument. Bibliography is the same thing as a reference list as well. Okay. Any questions with that? Questions? No? No questions? Because now we're doing next
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I have Melina here too. Hello, Melina.
Hi.
Where are we up to? 13.4 now. The EAL assignment. Hi, Melina. Hello.
Hi.
Hey.
How are you?
Do you guys
Good.
know Melina? Elissa? Susanna? You know Beatrice? You know Beatrice, yes. You guys know each other. But I think
Yeah.
Elissa and Susanna don't know. Yeah. Are you okay, Melina?
Yes, everything is fine. Thank you.
Yeah.
What about you?
Oh, yeah. I don't mind working from home. Just get to sleep in. But
Fine,
it's
yeah.
a bit
Oh,
boring.
really?
So crazy.
It's
I don't
boring.
mind it, but it's like, yeah, I'd like to go out a little bit more. We're recording this, so that's why we can't talk too much. That's why I'm just sort of doing, talking about that.
Okay.
After recording, we'll
Okay.
chat. But yeah, good to see you, Melina.
Okay.
So we're still doing 13.4, so I'll go back to that slide that we were on before. So we're doing this here.
Yep.
So this one up to this one here. Yeah, okay. So this one here, so D, using the internet or academic writing guides published by tertiary education providers, research the written academic genres shown in the table below and identify key structural and linguistic features of each genre. Tip, if the structural or linguistic feature is common to a particular genre, place an X in the appropriate box in the table. Leave the box blank if the feature is not common to that feature. Each feature listed may be common to more than one genre. So this is an example. So essay, for example, contains body conclusion, an argument, report, but then a thesis document doesn't, a textbook doesn't. So this is on the page. So Melina, you're in our diploma group, right? So you've got the WhatsApp sheet that I've just sent before. Good. So this is there.
Yes.
So it includes subtitles and subheadings where you can say yes, report, yes, yes, but no for an essay. Contains statements, point of view. So yes, yes. For report, no, there's no point of view. Gives evidence, yes, yes. So you can say that all have evidence. Chapters, well, chapters would be yes to textbook, research findings, thesis document. So it's fairly common sense. Across here we have the second page now. So modal verbs are used. So should, could, would, will. For essay, yes. Argument, yes. Literature review, yes. Textbook, yes. But for thesis, I don't say modals, it's just it is. It has shown that. Research findings, there's no modals. Linking words, yes for everything. Key findings, results. Textbook, no, but everything else, yes. Writing is factual, so here for essay, no. Argument, no, but everything else, yes. Complete sentences, well, yes. Complete sentences for all. So that's for the essay, argument, report, literature review, thesis document, research findings, and textbook. And the structural features are these ones. So everyone understands, they're just written above. So everyone understands all of that. Yeah, and then, so language features, yes. Yeah. Okay, so that's the end of that one, 13.4, I think. Like it's the end. Yeah, it finishes there. So next is 13.5, which is cultural values and practices. So the cultural values and practices of teachers and students in Western cultures differs quite significantly from other cultures. Consider the following values and practices of teachers and students given the table below and determine whether they are typical of Western or of other cultures. So tip, for each value or practice, place a box, place an X any appropriate box in the table to indicate its cultural background. So 13.5 I've copied here. So for example, Western and other. So students analyse and critique. Yes, we do in Western cultures.
Mm-hmm.
Teacher is seen as the transmitter of all knowledge. Well, you'd imagine definitely in Japan, Asian countries. Whatever we say is true, and you're not to critique it, you're not to counter it in any way. So that's how, when they say other cultures, I think they basically mean Asian cultures. South America, like Colombia, you know, European countries, Spain, pretty much the same as us, right? When you say Western. So they mean Asian countries. So students usually are quite passive, yes. They're not actively encouraged to input like they are in Western cultures. Students are expected to read widely, yes. Especially at university, they don't spoon feed you the answers. You've got to get out there and research yourself. Teachers present a single point of view. Okay, that might be there, but not here. Teachers are seen as facilitators of information. Yes, here, not there, not in Asia. Students accept responsibility for their own learning. Here, yes. Well, no. So there, yes. Here, so yes. So yeah, it's confusing having a cross. So yeah, so it means we do take responsibility here. Getting confused with the cross there. Students read textbooks and teachers' notes only. So here we have to have a cross section of texts, research thesis documents and whatnot as well to form an overarching opinion and then come up with their own point of view at the end. So over there, Asian countries, basically you just read the textbook and the teacher's notes and that's it. Teachers encourage students to participate in class, definitely here, not over in Asia. Students may give an alternative point of view, yes, definitely, encouraged to do, but over there, no. Students evaluate and analyse, synthesise ideas, yes. You have to hypothesise why something happened. We talk about, predict what could be before we do to encourage thinking, critical thinking. Yeah, no. Students rely heavily on rote learning. So what does rote mean? Everyone know? Yeah. So it's just basically memorize, right? You don't actually think about why it is. You just, 1 + 1 = 2. It's just, that's the way it is. You don't understand the concept behind it. You just have learnt it. Students expect to pass tertiary studies because they have paid high fees. Yeah, that's a problem. So some of them come here and expect to pass. So over in China, if they pay, they expect to pass. Well, that's an overgeneralization in some countries. Students are required to clearly identify and reference ideas they have gained from other sources. Yeah, we have to reference. That's a reference list or bibliography we talked about. And teachers provide students with a clear criteria against which their work will be marked. Yeah, so we have a criterion list that your work will be marked against, and we show that beforehand so you know. We call it also a rubric. Give them a rubric, and then they know they have to do certain things to get high level or middle or low level or not pass at all. So is all that clear with everyone?
Yeah.
Everyone okay, 13.4? Was it 13.5? So big, this assignment. Now to 13.6. What's the last one? It looks like good. 13.6. Okay, I'll go back to my screen. 13.6. So in cross-cultural study situations, the potential for confusion, misunderstanding, and offence is very real. Read the following case studies and respond to the questions. So this is a case study. So case study 1. So we have to read this one. So you are teaching English to a group of hairdressers from different countries. You have asked them to write a paper discussing the advantages and disadvantages of 3 different hair colouring products. You have discussed these advantages, the advantages and disadvantages of one product in depth in class. You have also worked your students You've also asked your students to reference the sources of their information. When you mark their work, you find there are 2 recurring problems. Only the product discussed in class has been written about and sources of information have not been referenced. So how will you address these problems with your assignment? So you have a comment box you need to fill in. So you tell them, go back to the question. The question said you have to do 3, because here it says 3. So you let them know that they're not answering the question right, because they've only done 1.
Yeah.
And if you look at the rubric, if you've given them a rubric before, or a criterion, you can see that actually they're not going to pass. They have to redo it. Or they'll just get a low grade. So in class, when the assignments were returned, I would allocate some time to discuss these common problems. I would ask students where they could find information about different hair color products, if they knew the names of different products, etc. If possible, I would arrange the students to have access to computers. So maybe the issue is they've got no technology, no IT, no Wi-Fi. So you could let them use the Wi-Fi at your college to ensure that there were some relevant hard copy information text in the classroom and have students find some advantages and disadvantages for different products. I would ask them to make a note of where they found the information, telling them the details need to be taken note of. When they had found information and we discussed it, I would then revise how they should reference the information they've found. I would do this by asking students to provide each of the reference details from the notes they had made and write the reference details on the board. Students would copy these down for future reference. So that's how we'd address the problem of them not referencing and not actually listening, looking at the instructions, because I had 3 and I only did 1. So list 3 activities you could incorporate into future classes to help your students better understand what is required of them when they write an assignment. So you can discuss the topic, ask students to do some research, discuss it further, ask students to bring their research to class. They can join in groups, talk about it, and then present in groups what they found out about that topic and write up their research findings. They could put it on a combined WhatsApp chat group like what we've got, and they have to reference properly. Ask students to find 5 sources of information on a specific topic and write a reference list. Any questions about that?
No.
That's okay. So case study 2, you'll notice, you notice that some of your friends from Asian cultures rarely participate in group situations. Example, they don't ask questions in class, nor do they discuss their point of view in small groups, etc. If asked to answer a question, they only reply with written answers given in class and will not support it with their own ideas. So briefly explain 2 possible reasons for this if they're displaying these behaviour patterns. Yeah, so they don't want to come up with their own point of view. Maybe, do they think it could be possibly disrespectful if the teacher's given one point of view? They don't want to counter that. So once again, we could put it down to their nationality. They would consider it disrespectful if they just wanted to, if they repeated back the information given, they would consider that, okay. Disrespectful if they had a view that was different to the teacher. So they're being respectful by just saying what the teacher said, showing that they've learned what the teacher said. So maybe you can encourage them to have their own point of view. You say, this is what I think. We've researched it and we've come up with different ways of looking at this topic. What's your view? So these students probably have not been in learning situations before where they have been required to give their opinion or discuss ideas. They probably expect the teacher to tell them all they need to know, so would not spend time analysing the topic and considering alternative views. Any questions about that? So 2 possible reasons. So they think it's disrespectful to have their own opinion, and also they've not done that before. In their country, it's always just rote and learn. Whatever the teacher tells them, they just learn it and they don't question it.
Yeah.
And then D, briefly explain 3 strategies you would implement to encourage these students to participate actively in class activities. So I would include more activities in my lesson that require students to discuss ideas in small groups. Encourage students to ask questions by allocating specific time throughout lessons for students to think of questions and ask them. So have other students ask questions and then take in turns role play. So that students gain confidence in asking questions. Initially, I would ask students to work in small groups or pairs. And as the students develop in confidence, you get them to talk in front of the class. Ask the students to research information on a particular topic that they would then present to the class. So that would be the ultimate aim, have them talk to the class and be able to give their own opinion as well and be able to back it up why they think that with some evidence. Any questions about that? No? Last?
No.
I think we're in the last one, E. Oh, we are. Okay. So outline 2 activities that you could incorporate into your lessons that would encourage these students to express their point of view, even if it differs from that of their classmates or teacher. So you can make a game out of it, rolling dice, moving your marker on a board game, and each time you come across a statement, they've got to give their point of view on it. So it would get them used to the fact that everyone's different, so they can give their point of view and realise, of course, that people are not going to be upset if they've got a different point of view to them. And case studies, incorporate case studies that require students to give and support their opinions into learning activities. And have a debate where the students prepare and participate in a debate on various topics. And then hopefully after that, they'll get used to giving their point of view more. They'll be encouraged to give their point of view, even if it's different to the others. And that's the end, everyone, finished.
Yeah.
Happy. It's pretty easy. Does that make more sense now? Everyone say yes.
Yeah.
Melina's going, oh, yeah. It's pretty heavy,
Yes.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Quite long.
Things are really repetitive, actually. So